Good Monday morning, everyone. Welcome to AMHQ Early. I'm meteorologist Kelly Cass. We've got a winter storm threatening to slam the upper Midwest, not just with heavy snow, but ice as well and some windy conditions. And we're talking about major flooding for parts of the eastern U.S. pretty much every day this upcoming week. So we start with our winter storm. Blizzard conditions traveling through the Rockies, trying to get to your favorite ski resorts. It's a little bit tough on this President's Day. And all that blue that you see here, that is snow streaking across the plains and stretching all the way into the upper Midwest at this hour, but the storm itself is still way back here over the west. So it's going to take a while. And that's really one of the problems with this storm system. Unlike Noah, that was in and out of the Northeast so fast, this one is going to be more of a prolonged event, especially in terms of that freezing rain, which is unfortunate. So here's the storm system as it develops to the lee of the Rockies. You've got the warm front separating the very warm, moist air to the south of it from the very, very cold air to the north of it. And we've got that north wind making it feel brutal out there in the Dakotas right now. And where you have that cold enough air, it is accumulating snow. But there's the track of Oliver heading into the Great Lakes region for tomorrow. And unfortunately, we've got abundant moisture to work with, and the fact that we've got cold air, especially that's going to hang out near the surface, we are concerned about an accumulation of ice for many of you. So here's a look at the blue. That's all snow. Duluth, in fact, snowing right now, and you'll get kind of waves of snow as we go throughout the day and on into the evening hours. There's the pink, by the way. That is freezing rain showing up here in Des Moines, over towards, say, Rochester, Minnesota, over towards Green Bay, Wisconsin. So this is why we have an ice storm warning in effect for some of you, because that ice is going to stick around even into Tuesday across parts of Wisconsin. So here's a look at the snowfall, what we could see in terms of accumulation. The darker blue, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches. But where you see that lighter shade of purple, that's about 5 to 8. And yes, there are a few pockets back here where we could see as much as 6 to 12. Rapid Valley already in western South Dakota, you picked up about a ½ foot of snow, and it's still coming down. Then you've got the wind swirling around that, so that's going to be an issue for travel. And then, of course, the ice potential. It is likely that we'll see some accumulation or accretion here from the Door Peninsula right on down 35 into Des Moines as well. So make sure you've got a way to light your house, because we could lose power in this area. Week or school week. We're going to start off with today, in case you have plans on this President's Day. It looks good across the southeast, just some cloud cover and the occasional showers, especially with that wedge down here in the southern Appalachians. Then you've got the heavy rain that's going to be moving through Chicago later today. The icy precip, we're very concerned about that because it could be a prolonged event, especially here in central Wisconsin with ice storm warnings in effect. That's the pink. And there you see Wednesday, we see that rain starting to nose into the northeast with those warm temperatures. You've got 70 in New York City on Wednesday. Still looking pretty stormy across the Tennessee Valley down into Texas. And look at this, a little bit of frozen precip even on the northern side there in parts of Oklahoma and Texas, where we do need the moisture, by the way. Friday, we wrap up the week with some rain in New York City. Temperatures in the mid-40s, and that rain will probably stick around even into the first half of the weekend and the second half of the weekend. The showers will persist with those temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Well, a serious flood threat this week. Time to check on your travel conditions. We do this on AMHQ every hour, 20 and 40 past the hour. If you are flying this morning, we could see some delays due to the weather. Delta Airlines is issuing waivers to people flying in and out of the upper Midwest today and tomorrow. Right now, we don't have any delays, but we do have de-icing going on in Salt Lake City with the snow coming down there. Sometimes de-icing can cause delays later on. There you see the snow showing up in the blue. That pink is freezing rain, so watch it there on the roadways, especially the I-35 corridor. And in Florida, we got some thick fog out there this morning, especially in the Orlando area. So some delays are possible in Boston, not due to snow, but rather rain. Also check ahead New York, Minneapolis, and a few delays are possible for Denver and Jacksonville. Quick hitter in the Northeast. We didn't see as much wind, but this one is delivering the wind and therefore whiteout conditions at times trying to travel across the Rocky Mountain states, also through the Dakotas, and that blue stretching all the way into the upper Midwest. So here's the situation. We've got the warm, moist air south and east of Oliver, the center, moving out of the Rockies and basically moving through the plains, and has basically making a beeline for the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes region by tomorrow. So you've got the much colder air to the north, much warmer air to the south, but right in the middle, we're kind of marginal. And unfortunately, that is not a good setup for parts of Iowa and Wisconsin. Wisconsin now, some of you under ice storm warnings because we could have a prolonged freezing rain event. Then eventually the storm heads into the Great Lakes region by tomorrow. So here's the snow. All that blue is snow. The green to the south, we've already had thunderstorms in parts of Indiana and Ohio this morning. And so it gets wetter there, especially Chicago. But right here in the middle, between the rain and the snow, that pink is freezing rain. That is basically looks like plain old rain and then freezes on contact with those elevated surfaces and creates a glaze on the roadways out there. Depending on how long it lasts in your location, you could see an accumulation of ice, and that can weigh down the trees and the power lines, and you could be without power here in parts of Wisconsin, even getting as far north as Marquette, Michigan. So that cold air at the surface is going to hang on. But the snow, we're talking 3 to 5 in the darker blue, and this is the area that we're most concerned about in terms of icing. Monday, but it's President's Day, so a lot of you may be lucky enough to have the day off today. But you'll need the umbrellas right up here through Chicago, Indianapolis. It's really going to be coming down out there. Not snow this go around. It's going to be all rain, but right along the northern edges, you've got that wintry weather. That pink is no good. That is freezing rain. We could see some serious ice accumulation in parts of Iowa, also central Wisconsin. So ice storm warnings in effect for some of you. Wednesday, we see the rain moving out of the Great Lakes and pushing toward the northeast, but Wednesday still actually looks pretty good. In New York City, you'll see 70 degrees, incredible for February. Rain filling in across the south, as I just talked about, but that pink, that is where we see the freezing rain chances, and to the north of that, that blue is all snow. Then we head towards Friday. You can see the active weather still across the Ohio Valley, down through the southern plains. Temperatures all the while are going to be very warm, record-breaking warm, actually, not just in the southeast, but across the east coast as well into the north. And for Sunday, we still have the rain, and it's going to be a chilly rain too. New York City with those 40s, 43 degrees in Chicago, and the west continues to see a pretty active storm track, especially in the Pacific Northwest.